As Spartacus, House of Asher will be airing in a few months. I am rewatching all the episodes to bring you up to speed. I remember watching this series when I was around 12 or 13 years old, way too young to be watching something so provocative. But back then it was all about the media hype and the thrill of watching something meant for older eyes. Now watching it as an adult, I can see so much more in the story, the drama, the characters, and the twists. The story begins with a man in chains, locked away in the dark space beneath the arena. You can hear the deafening roars of the crowd above, mixed with the sound of feet stomping against the ground. The noise is overwhelming, shaking the stone above him. From there, the story takes us back to his past, showing us how he ended up in such a terrible situation. The man's journey starts in Thrace, where he and his people are summoned to meet with Legatus Glaber. The Thracians are clearly upset, rightfully so, because Glaber entered their land without any warning. Glaber claims his purpose is to inform them about Mithridates and the Greeks, who are a threat in the east. He also warns them about the Getae, suggesting that they might use the chaos caused by Mithridates' war as an opportunity to attack Thrace. Glaber insists that they must deal with the Getae to stop their constant attacks on Thrace, but the unnamed Thracian, still not convinced, presses him for a clearer answer. Glaber, clearly irritated by the doubt, tries to persuade him, claiming that the Getae are taking advantage of Mithridates' war to push their own agenda. The unnamed Thracian, still skeptical, tells Glaber that they will only consent to the alliance if Glaber agrees to help them deal with the Getae once and for all. Glaber, visibly angered by the man's boldness, reluctantly agrees. But the real question remains. Why was Glaber so interested in helping the Thracians with their Getae problem? Was this a way to manipulate them into fighting Mithridates and the Greeks, thus reducing Roman casualties in the process? Or perhaps Glaber saw it as a way to tie the Thracians to Rome, ensuring their loyalty while quietly advancing Roman influence. After the tense meeting, we are introduced to the unnamed Thracian's wife, Sura. They are childless, and there is an undeniable sadness in her eyes. Sura is a deeply spiritual woman, almost prophetic. She shares a troubling dream she had, a dream in which she saw her husband bowing before a great red serpent, the life draining from his veins. She begs him to stay, to reconsider this dangerous path, but he dismisses it, brushing off the dream as nothing more than a figment of her imagination. In an effort to ease her fears, he gives her a piece of his cloth, telling her to tie it around her thigh. It's a small gesture, a promise that he would return to her. The battle with the Getae was fierce, but the Romans arrived late on purpose. They never really planned to help the Thracians. They broke their agreement, leaving the Thracians to fight the Getae alone. As the battle ended, some of the Getae managed to escape. That night, both camps settled in. The Romans were well prepared, resting in warm tents with plenty of food, but the Thracians were left out in the cold and with terrible food. One of the Thracians, Drenis, complains openly about the poor treatment. He feels betrayed and argues that they should rebel against their Roman allies. The unnamed Thracian, trying to keep the peace, calms Drenis down, reminding him that they gave their word to help. But the tension between them continues to build. Eventually, they fight, only to be interrupted when Glaber and his men command them to scout the enemy's position. In Glaber's tent, we are introduced to Ilithia, Glaber's wife, and the daughter of Senator Albinius. They discuss the situation, and Glaber explains that his goal is to protect the northern borders, to prevent Mithridates from gaining more power. However, as he is not a consul, he doesn't have full control of the situation. Ilithia almost berates him, reminds him that her father helped him secure his position and expects results. She pressures him to act decisively and bring home a victory. The unnamed Thracian and Drenis report back, informing Glaber that the Getae are heading back toward the Thracian villages. Glaber dismisses their warning and seems uninterested in their report. Ilethia, eager to see her husband succeed and his name extolled in Rome, pushes him further, suggesting a preemptive strike against Mithridates and the Greeks before they can spread their influence. Glaber, convinced by her words, decides to alter his plan and march east, abandoning the original mission to deal with the Getae. The next day, Glaber orders the Thracians to march east, but the unnamed Thracian refuses. His defiance ignites a deadly confrontation, and the Thracians, united in their loyalty to the unnamed Thracian, kill the Roman soldiers in Glaber's company. This unnamed Thracian spares Glaber's life, but that proved to be a terrible mistake. It is a decision that will haunt him throughout the series, setting the stage for his ultimate downfall. Meanwhile, the Getae reach the Thracian villages. Sura, who had been outside the village plucking fruit, is attacked. The unnamed Thracian arrives just in time to save her, but their village has been destroyed. There is no safe haven to return to. Everything they knew is gone. That night, the unnamed Thracian decides to head south, believing it is safer there. But Glaber, wounded by the humiliation he suffered, is relentless in his pursuit. The next morning, Glaber catches up with the pair. The Thracian and his wife are captured, and his entire force is recalled by Rome after hearing of his failure in the campaign against Mithridates. In Capua, Glaber brought the deserters to the arena to be executed ad gladium as a way to entertain the crowd and divert attention from his failure with Mithridates. Senator Albinius, wanting to support his daughter for the moment, presented the executions as a way to show the people that he was trying to please the gods, hoping they would end the drought in Capua. Batiatus, the gladiator trainer, presents his fighters, Barca and Crixus, while Glaber's rival, Marcus Decius Solonius, presents 6 of his own men to fight the deserters. One by one, the Thracians are slain by these gladiators, but our main character survives. Just when it seems he will be killed, he sees a red serpent drawn in front of a shield. And then he remembers Sura's prophecy and words, "Kill them all." With renewed strength, he kills all of Solonius's men, impressing the crowd. The crowd cheers for the Thracian, demanding that he live. But Glaber, filled with rage, refuses. Senator Albinius, eager to placate the crowd, insists that the man be spared. Batiatus, ever the opportunist, offers to purchase the Thracian and train him as a gladiator, convincing him that he will die while training. And it would be better if he dies privately than in public, where the crowd could easily turn against them. Glaber reluctantly agrees. As the crowd celebrates and Senator Albinius is about to announce their decision to spare him, he asks Glaber what he is called, but no one knows. Then Batiatus steps forward, naming the man Spartacus, after a legendary Thracian king, because of the way he fights. Senator Albinius announces they will grant him mercy, and the crowd erupts in joy. And then the episode ends.